Generic greetings and welcome back once again to Prison Architect, and indeed a new series. Today's beverage is a very filling blueberry cheesecake riot protein drink shake type thing, half beverage, half physical nutrients. So welcome back to the game, and on a previous series we were focused on a 100% gang member facility that centred around a couple of core mechanics, and that was guard suppression and guard influence. What I mean by the latter there is that when you have a guard in a room that is adjacent to other rooms that can be taken over by gang members, the guard's classes being in said room for the purposes of who's got the most people. I hope that makes sense, and actually all of that side of it, all of those mechanics actually gelled out and worked really, really well, to my surprise. However, what didn't work well was pretty much everything else. It wasn't exactly a passive run, and we had a lot of violence, a lot of deaths, and also, sadly, a couple of failure states because of the latter there. Either way, it was a bit different, and we can call it a 5 out of 10. You can't have perfect ones every single time. Either way, this one is going to be a bit of an experiment, and again, something a little bit different. We're going to focus on contraband, and actually, we want a lot of contraband in the facility. But let's just go ahead and set up our stall here by going to create new prison and uniform picker. I'm going to go because of, again, something different with the jungle uniforms. World size I'm going to keep as small. I don't plan on this being an overly long series. No, I don't plan on any expansion really, although to borrow a quote, what I plan and what takes place ain't exactly being similar. Funds is going to be 30,000 generic units of currency. Plot type we're going to go with jungle. Weather and intensity is going to be off because I don't like the idea of it being -20 while on a jungle plot. Gangs, no. And dynamic reputation we're going to keep off as well. Fog of war is staying off just so you can see better. Failure conditions we will put on. We will generate some forests. I'm not going to bother with lakes, buildings. I am going to put on warden mode and then turn it off because I'm not insane. Events, temperature, staff needs, all that is going to stay off. I think we're just going to go with escape plans, really. In terms of DLC settings, we could go with tropical fever, but I just don't want to be dealing with that. Undead, similar thing. We'll put on prisoner aging because it's, just a nice little extra touch. Gangs staying off. Weather and intensity and rat infestation is all off. I'm not going to bother with island bound because we've done a couple of island facilities as of late, and we're not going to go with psych ward either. Basically, this is actually a fairly vanilla run. In fact, if it wasn't for the jungle uniform, you could play this with just the default sort of options, really. Anyway, we're going to go with all dogs because why not? Randomise the dogs, and that's fine. And should we do that? Or should we go Bowtie Bandit or Toby? Actually, let's run with Toby. Why not? In terms of the warden, then it's going to be focused around Safara Aknova. So a spotless reputation and a squeak clean record, but behind the scenes, shady deals, under the table offerings are not uncommon for her. So basically, you get a small resale cut of the contraband that you find, and prisoners found with contraband will be fined directly from their savings. So it's all about making money via contraband, and because of that, I'm going to go over to mutators and put on more contraband. More contraband is smuggled into the prison, and prisoners are far more likely to steal contraband when given the opportunity. So that's good. That means I'm not going to put in contraband scanners because I've actively wanted to come into the facility to then be discovered. Now, normally, I wouldn't do this because it might be a little bit of a cheat. You let me know, I'm sure. But I'm going to put on, where is it? Lightning the Lord. We're going to put on, I can't actually see it. I thought it was in here, maybe changing the rules. Contraband scanners. So, metal detectors will detect all forms of contraband, but also use 5 times as much power. Now, I wouldn't have put this on unless, well, basically the checkpoints don't work. They are broken, and yeah. Basically, because of that, I think this is a good compromise, and it complements the whole getting contraband in and then discovering it. And I think with that, we will click play. So this is the first episode, and if you've ever seen any of the series, you know that basically it's all about the planning. So if you want to see the building, no harm, no foul, skip to the next episode. But this is just going to be a sort of rough plan on the design of the facility. Now, I'm actively putting the walls only a couple of distances. That's a sentence. It's assembled correctly, just not very well at the same time. Bit of a duality there. Anyway, basically, I'm not having the gap of 10 that you normally have because I want contraband to be thrown in. That is the entire point. Down here, I'm just going to measure a 4x4, so that's going to be where we've got the all of the offices. This is going to be the offices, and I'm probably going to have reception on the right-hand side here. Then they come in and go around, and then the rest of this will be sort of staff only. I probably want a distance on I think 12 for that one. Let me just go ahead and bring that across, and then I'll delete that bit, and we'll have in obviously some doors in here and here and here and here. Now I do want to focus again on rooms that you can get contraband from, which means we are probably going to go down the farming route. I might regret that later on, but we'll see. Actually, what I'll probably do first is go to intake and turn it off. I think we're going to go probably with min or medium sec. I'm not going to go with max or super max. That's again not the plan, but we'll see how we get on. And for the pathways then, obviously there's going to be pathways around here. I don't really know why I'm putting pathways in here. I think we pretty much understand that this is going to be a pathway. I'm also going to do something similar around here, although I want to measure out where we're going to have our orchards and such. Minimum size is 5 by 5, and I'm going to have probably the... do I want a pathway of 2 all the way around the garden? I mean, probably is the answer. Let me just put the pathways in and I'll measure it out and see how we get on. So this is going to be something like this. In fact, it's going to be exactly like that. And then I want to have it so it is objects. I want to have it so it's a 10 by 10. So that's going to be something like that. And it's going to be 10 by something anyway. That's the overall plan. So we'll have that. And then I want to have in how we're going to do this. If we're going to have a... Do we need a walkway all the way around the outside? That's using up a lot of space that I could probably utilise much better. I don't actually think I need to do that. No. What I'll do, I'll just have it much bigger. So it'll be a 10 by something or other. I'm just going to have a 10 by... Let's have a 10 by... just 10 by massive, basically, by that. That'll be fine, and then I maybe do want a pathway running along this side, perhaps. Again, this is planning, this is something that can all be changed in time. And then walls is going to go across there. We do need an entranceway in, although... Do I want to have that there, or do I want to have... Well, I want to have, obviously, the metal detectors in here. We definitely want to have those. It just depends on whether I have them inboard or outboard. I'm not sure. Do I bring it down another one or not? I can't decide. I'll tell you what happens is you just try it, and if it looks alright, then it normally is alright. So something like that and something like that, and that's okay maybe, and have doors there, and then you've got your metal detectors on this side. I'm probably going to have some more of the stuff in the middle as well. We're going to have, obviously, the pathways there and pathway along here. We do need a pantry at some point. It'll go around here. In terms of the, let's say, staff-only areas, this is going to be like staff-only all the way around here. Let me actually put a wall in rather than a pathway. So reception can go in here, so we can have something like that, and obviously doors there, and we'll have some doors there. We'll have metal detectors and, you know, the whole sort of entranceway type of thing in his side, and along that side as well. I think that's okay, and then all of this can be whatever it needs to be, truth be told. I haven't actually worked out exactly what it's going to be. It'll be something, and it might be a bit of a mess, but it'll definitely be something. Walls we'll put like that. Actually, do we need to do that? I'm gonna actually move this along a little bit just so I can do something like this and have... We've got the metal detectors in there. We're gonna have another set of metal detectors, and let's have some doors on that one. Doors on here as well, and this goes into, like I say, the staff-only area. So we're probably gonna have some walls. Do I want a corridor of 2? Do I want a corridor of 2? I think I probably do. Let's have that. Oh, I've just made it a corridor of 1. This is going to be a kitchen, so we'll have something like that. And basically, they'll come in and around like this. That doesn't really sit well with that bit there, truth be told. So I might just, again, move it a little bit. It's a bit too large for our purpose. Actually, do I even need it that large? I could just do that, couldn't I? Minimum size of 5, I think. Hang on, let's go for a reception, and there is no minimum size. That is perfectly acceptable then. So I'll do that, and it just sits in a little bit nicer. So objects is, you can have your sort of desk can go in here, and I don't know, desk there, and then a seating behind it, and whatever, it doesn't really matter, and you can have a couple of bins there or whatever. And then we're going to have some, where is it, doors in here. We'll have a door there. We're not going to have any prisoners working here. That's not my intention. While the guys are working at the moment, I'm just going to go over to deliveries and put in some deliveries, some garbage, and let's put in some exports, which can go, I mean, down here, I guess, we'll have exports, and then we'll remove all of that, which is now fine. Okay, back over to the planning, and let's work on the cells for the prisoners. Now, I'm tempted to go with small cells, which means there's no minimum size. Truth be told, it'll probably be a 2x2, just so you can get everything in. Let's see then, can we put them in here? If this was going to be a cell block, let me just go, imagine it was a 2x2. So I'm just going to do this. I don't know why, but I have a gut feeling that this is going to be off by 1 or 2 squares, and I'll have to change things up a little bit, but that's fine if we need to do that. And let's just see, and I can already tell it's going to be wrong. Yep, it's wrong. Okay then, well, if that's the case, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go with pathways, and I'm going to put a pathway along there, pathway along here, have a pathway of 3, so that actually mirrors up what this side's got here, so that actually works. Although, what I'm tempted to do again is maybe flip this round. Yeah, actually, that'd work out much better, actually. Let's remove this and this. So you've got a pathway of 3 that goes around, just for the sake of reasons. And let's have maybe a wall that goes across there and then down. And similar thing, object, obviously you've got your metal detectors, which I'm going to put on that side, actually. Let's go ahead and put a door on there, door on there. Yep, that's fine. You've got your metal detectors there. You've got your pathways, which is going to come across like so. And other workers still working on the trees, I think they are. And you've still got technically a gap of 3 along. I mean, obviously it's slightly different here, but it doesn't matter. And that means then, if my calculations are correct, let's go with, let's just see, it's going to be that, isn't it? No, it's not going to be that. It's going to be that and that, because that's how it is. And this goes across, and as I said, this is a guesstimation of the right size. I think it'll be fine, but the fun is always in finding out, as we say. It's about the journey, not the destination, which is, well, something I wish I could say on the last facility. Anyway, let's just see about putting this in. All fine. I think it'll be absolutely fine with the sizings of this one. And obviously you're gonna have the beds and the other things in here. And yep, there you go. And that's actually all right. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. 2, 4, 6, 8. So that is 48 inmates, if I've got that calculation correct. I'm just going to double check that. It's going to be 37. Where did I get that number from? It's going to be 7. I know where I got 37 from. I got it because I was going to say this is going to be 3. I just sort of amalgamated the works together there. Okay, so this is going to be just under 100 inmates, which is a bit naughty, because then we're not going to get cell block C, which is a bit annoying, but we can probably do it other ways. You know what? I'm tempted to do this again. On another row up. That'll be a lot of inmates, but there's going to be a lot of work as well, to be fair. Okay, so there's that. The problem is I'm very much running out of space. I should point out this thing here. This is not going to be one big like field. We're going to obviously split it down and have it so you've got multiple fields in there and orchards and things like that. At least that's the plan. Here's a thing. So on the end, could I change things up a bit and have in, this is like a canteen? Probably not. We'd have to have a 3x4. And that's 4, 8, 16. No. If I was to do that. Oh, actually, wait. No, if it was on the other side, that would work out as well. Would it not? 4, 8, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4. That would actually work. That would work. In fact, it's actually, if anything, a little bit oversized because you've got that again, and I've also shrunk this down. So, could we do that? We could. What if I was to put it the other way? 1, 2, 3, and then there wouldn't be any place for a serving table or anything, would there? Okay. And no metal detectors. Do I do that, or do I be sensible? Never. And shove it in here. Have a... Yeah, I'm not going to do that, what I was going to do there. No. It was a good thing to try. That's fine. Okay, so let's just put the other one in here. I'll put the other lines in later. How are the workers doing? They're doing fine. We're going to get a lot of money from the exports there. And then we've also got this over here, which is going to be just a massive room. Well, a massive building, should I say. And this is going to focus on basically everything else. Now, that might sound lazy, and admittedly, you could probably make that argument. But we normally over-plan things anyway, so it's not too much of an issue. Like I say, all of the staff areas are going to be down here. I don't plan on having an armory. We're not going to be over... Actually, we probably will have a couple of doggos, because we need to sniff out that contraband. So we've got over 150 inmates. We don't have any protective custody. I don't know if we're going to go with one or not. If so, where would it be? I might just put it like a couple of cells in here. Haven't yet decided. What is often a good thing to do is have a security room. So I'm going to have in security, or actually wait, no. So this is going to be our kitchen. This is going to probably oversize that kitchen as well, but this is just temporary permanent. That's going to be our maybe laundry. Then we'll have another area here. So kitchen, laundry. This could be, what could this be? That could be security, and then if I was to have in some kind of I need some sort of staff area, don't I? You know what I also need? I need some areas for solitary. So what I'm going to do is, actually, would that suffice? 6, and then you've got 12, and then that's on each one. Again, sometimes if it sits correctly, then we'll stick with it. So it's going to be solitary on the end. We might need some more, but as I said, I don't plan on having a lot of high-risk inmates. In fact, I don't plan on having any sort of high-risk inmates. That's not the focus of this build, for good or ill. Let's see what I'm putting this on. So yeah, you've got nice areas on the side here for some solitary confinement. And not protected custody, like I think I said a couple of times. So doors, we're going to put in doors like so. Yeah, and I'll also have to put doors on all of these. I'll do that in but a moment. I won't subject you to that. And this one, yeah, that's fine. I can see lined tiles in my future on this build as well. Returning to form. Okay, so that's now in, and let's go ahead and have in some objects, and it's going to be 3x4, 3x4, 3x4. So how many is that for? It's 8, 16, 32, 32, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's at 48 on that side, and then I'm going to have the same on that side. I think it needs to be a little bit larger. We can always oversize the canteen. It is not a problem. We just end up having to, put some more stuff in it, which is fine. So let's just double check that measurement. It is 19 from that side, so we're going to do the same on this side. So it goes in like that. In the middle, we'll have in this with the metal detector probably outboard again, which is something we've used quite a bit. So it's going to be doors and the objects like so. Similar thing on this side, so I think it was that. And doors, and obviously the walls, and then we'll have in the objects like so. So it's this, and does it fit? It does, and 12. So it's going to be serving table and serving table. And in the middle, if I wanted to, which I probably do want, I'm going to have some phone booths. Just like running down the middle. That's the rough plan. Okay, so we've got all of this area in the middle, which, well, I'll need to earmark for something. What don't we have? We don't have visitation, so visitor tables are a 3x2, so I can have, if I wanted to, a 3x2, something like that. Have it on the same side. We'll do that, 3x2, 3x2, and I'll run them in the middle as well. Doesn't really sit in too well, does it? But it'll do for now. Obviously, we've got an area that's sort of missing for work and such, because we're rapidly running out of space. Okay, sort of regret not going on a medium-sized map now, but we're here, and we'll do what we can. So, I do need an area for, that's 8, and that's 8. Do I need two? Do I need 2 visitations, is the question. Probably not. Am I going to run with it? I probably am. Okay. Well, I would like... Obviously, there's going to be a lot of work, and it's going to be on the farm. So, maybe laundry I don't put in here. Or if we do put it in here, I'll just have it open that way, and then have that as a cleaning cupboard. Okay, there's double work. And, you know what we can also do? We can have a shop. We can have a shop over here, can't we? Okay. Again, a bit different by having it situated like it is. Might as well do that so we can get people working in the kitchen as well. That makes perfect sense, actually. People working in the kitchen. Okay. All right. It's coming together in an organic way. All right. So we're just having these facing sort of outwards. These are all going to be metal detectors. You may notice a distinct lack of space for green energy. And it's not an oversight. I didn't really want to run with it, because we've run with it for a number of episodes now, which, yeah, it doesn't feel like a cheat, but it is certainly running things on an easier mode. Okay. Right, fine. Let me just put these in here, like so. That's okay. So this area here, obviously I've just said, oh, it's going to be a huge amount of sort of work area. We can have this as one big field. I can even put in some buildings in here and have it as... We haven't got a bakery. I mean, we could have a bakery and a... What's the other one? Kitchen. Is it? Restaurant. Yeah, bakery and a restaurant. We could have that there. But what am I missing? Many of things. But let's just go down the list, shall we? Cells, yes, lots of. Holding cell, no, we're not having. Solitary, yes, we've got some of those. Dormitory, no. Canteen, 2 of. A kitchen, yes, over here, which is probably a little too large. Shower, we're not bothering. They're going to be in the cells. Yard, oh yeah, that's an oversight. It's simple to add. I can put it in here, can't I? Yard, like that. I'm just going to remove the planning. What was it, that? Where's it start and end? I can't see, it's too dark. Too dark. Yard. So you mouse over it, and eventually it will be highlighted. Yep, that's the right size. And what I might do is, I might do this. Walls. And also we need a way in to this one. So I'm going to do that and that for my sins. And doors, metal detectors, and I'm going to put a metal detector there and there. And then we've got the yard. Okay, it's removed some of the work, but it's fine. What else don't I have? Excuse me. Right, garbage, yes, workshop. Oh, no. How curious. Okay. What our plan and want takes place in exactly being similar. We have noted this. I think expansion's already going to be a thing. I think it is. Okay. We don't need a ridiculous amount of work. We just need contraband. Okay. I think this here and this here be it forestry and farming and such, will be fine. We don't necessarily need a workshop. If we do, it'll be an expansion thing, or I could change this yard to be one. We don't need a yard. I mean, it helps, but you don't need one. I could always change these walkways to be one. No size for 5x5. No, I can't. Okay. I'll have a think on that one. There's so many rooms these days anyway. Offices, I'll put those in a moment. Common room, if we have one, it's going to be in the middle here potentially, or we said bakery and restaurant. I'm not a big fan. We'll see. We'll see. That's a future me problem. Current me is kicking it down for the mug that is future me. Staff room, well, we'll go on the other stuff. Cleaning cupboard, yes, we've got one in here. Morgue and morgue and infirmary we don't have. I'll touch on that in a moment, which is now. So I'll put it in here, so it'll be same size, just 8, I think, like that. And then we have this come like so. Is that right? No, that's wrong. 9. That'll be 10 then, won't it? It's an internal of 8. So it's that. And I can see this pretty much going all the way to this side. Okay. Here's the thing. Bureaucracy. Who needs it? Bureaucracy. If I'm getting the room requirement unlock, does that affect just cells or every single room in the game? I can't recall because I haven't used it in quite some time. If it is the former, I'll have to box clever on how we do some of this. If it's the latter, let's just say the offices are going to be a little bit shared. A little bit cramped. Okay. I mean, I don't think we're going to have protective custody, because we've only really got this bit to play with. I'm going to do that and put in the 4x4 offices. Let's just see how many I can get in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 like that. Okay. And then this can all be staff room. I do technically need 6. But where would I put the other one? Yeah. I could always expand to the right and just put the staff-only areas there. And then I could have green energy. No, the plan was not to have it. Maybe stick with that plan. Okay. Just keep going down the list, shall we? Infirmary, we've talked about, it's going to go here. Armory, we're not going to have one. Kennel, I don't have one planned, but we do probably need one. We want to go with... We have got a chapel. We haven't got parole. There's a lot of things we haven't got in here. Right, okay, that's forced my hand. That's forced my hand straight away. All of these are going to be separate rooms. Like this and like this. That's going to be an odd-sized one. These are going to be things like parole, mailroom, etc. Which means, where is the staff room going to be? Well, I think it's going to be on the other side of the road. And I know that one of the problems I have here is each of these metal detectors uses 5 times as much power. I'm going to have so much power, and if I'm not doing green energy, it's going to be a bit of a nightmare. I might have to roll back on that. I mean, rules make rules lawyers, and we're making the rules up. So maybe I do go with green energy across the way. That'll mean land expansion from the very beginning. But that frees off a lot of space. I also really want that to be slightly bigger, which means shrinking this down by 1 and then moving everything over to the right. But that ain't happening at the moment. I'll probably end up just forgetting and leaving it as is. Let's just continue going down the list. Chapel we haven't got. It could be one of these rooms. It's going to be pretty small, but we can have it. Parole, same thing. Reception's at the front. Mail room, shop could be down here. All the padded stuff we don't need. Not going to have a gym. Allotments, fruit orchards, farming field. For my sins is going to go up the top. Pantry is something we'll have to have there as well. I'll just put an ad hoc building somewhere. Meeting room we haven't got. Flower garden or bakery and training room. Bakery and restaurant in the middle if we do have it. Cage, fight club, graveyard, visit reception, cinema, we're not going to have at all. We do want a training room somewhere, and we haven't got a classroom. Okay, so there's a lot of things we haven't got, but there's the end of that chat. I may end up removing some of these cells and having a few less inmates and maybe some slightly more central areas for other rooms. Okay, alright. Well, that's been a bit of Prison Architect. I have to remind myself that it's not about the work. We've done a work-focused prison semi-recently. This is about prisoners being able to work, to have money, to then when we catch them with contraband, we can find them and make money that way. And then obviously you do that, they get punishments, which means reform, hopefully. Yeah, it is an experiment. We did say that. Set up my stall early, get my racing driver's excuses in from now on. Let's have a storage room. And I'm just going to put a storeroom over here and do that. There you go, just to move this stuff over. All right, we're going to leave there for now. That's been a bit of Prison Architect. That is the potential... Well, this is the plan. This is the plan that we've got so far. It's not the final plan on the permanent one. It obviously will change as we build organically. But next episode, I'm going to go ahead and put, and I do mean this, a temporary office down. So I can unlock bureaucracy, which means I can unlock on the right-hand side, which means we can then plan off a lot of the rooms that are going to go there. Yeah, let's see how we get on. And next episode, we will, well, start all our process. As always, comments in the comments. Hope you have enjoyed it. Thanks very much for watching. Take care. And generic partings.